Okay, for number 7, we know that the slope is positive, so we know it's going up from left to right. And we know the y-intercept is at positive 3, so this could be positive 3. This could not. The only one that's possible is this one, because we know it's positive 3 and we know it's going up from left to right. So this is choice A. All right, for number 9, we know it's going down from left to right, and we know the y-intercept is negative. So this is the only possibility. So that's C. All right, number 11. We know it's going up from left to right, and there's no y-intercept, meaning it goes through the origin. So the only ones that go through the origin are this one and this one, but since the slope is positive, we know it has to be this one. So this is H. And finally, we know that this is a horizontal line at positive 3. That's the only possible answer. So this is choice B as in boy. Okay, for number 15, if we write this in the form of y is equal to mx plus b, here's our m, so y is equal to 5x, and here's our b, so plus 15. And that's slope-intercept form. All right, for this one, number 17, we'll start with y is equal to mx plus b, and we'll plug in our m, which is negative 2/3, and we'll plug in our b. This is our b. The 0.04, this is the y value when the x value is 0, so that is our y-intercept. And that's it. Okay, for this, again, we'll start with y is equal to mx plus b. Here's our m. And this is the y value when x is 0, so this is our y-intercept, so plus 5. And that's it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is write this in slope-intercept form. So we start with the equation, and then I got to move this over to the other side. So it's going to become positive on the right. So it's going to be y is equal to a positive x plus 2. Now our m is the number in front of the x. There's nothing there, so that's like a 1. So our m is equal to 1, and our b is equal to the number afterward. So there's our b. So the b is 2. So that's our starting point. The slope, the y-intercept is 2. And then we're going to, you can think of this as a fraction 1 over 1. So you're going to rise 1 and run 1, and we'll put our second dot right there. And then we'll just graph that. Missed it a little bit, but anyway, put an arrow on either side. And that's it. Okay, for number 23, we're going to start by moving the 4x over, and we're going to get negative 5y is equal to negative 4x plus 20. And then I'm going to divide everything by negative 5. And we're going to get y is equal to, now negative divided by negative is a positive, so we have positive 4/5 x. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So our m, our slope, is equal to the number in front of the x, so that's 4/5. And our b, the y-intercept, is the number after that, so that's going to be negative 4. So this is our starting point. We go to negative 4 on the y-axis and put a dot there. And then we're going to rise 4, and we're going to run 5. And we'll put our dot there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, right there. And then we're going to graph that. So I'll get a straight edge, and we'll put a line through it all. And arrows on either side. And that's it. Okay, for number 25, we'll put in the slope-intercept form by moving that over, and we're going to get 2y is equal to a negative x, and that's a minus 4. And then we'll divide everything by 2, and we're going to get y is equal to, now this is like a negative 1, so we're going to have a negative 1/2, and we put the x separately. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2, so we have a minus 2. So our m is the number in front of the x. That's a negative 1/2. and our b is equal to this number right here. That's a negative 2. So that's our starting point. On the y-axis, we'll put a negative 2. Because this is negative, we're going to go down, but we're going to run to the right. So we'll go down 1 and run 2. So there's our second point. And when we graph it, it's like this. I'll put arrows on either side, and we're done. All right, let's start with y is equal to mx plus b. All right, here's our y value, here's our x value, and here's our m. Okay, so we're going to start with y, which is 4, is equal to m, which is negative 3/4, our x, which is negative 2, plus b, and we're going to solve this equation for b. So let's start by multiplying this. This is like 2 over 1. So when we multiply this, this and this cancel. 2 goes into this twice and into this 1 time. So we have 4 is equal to, a negative times negative is a positive, 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2, and then we have plus b. Okay, now I personally don't like fractions, so I'm going to multiply each of these by 2. So I'll get 8 is equal to 3, because the 2's cancel, plus 2b. And then I'm going to move the 3 over by subtracting it, and we'll get 5 is equal to 2b. Let's bring this all the way up over here, and we'll divide by 2, and we're going to get b is equal to 5/2. Now we want to start again at y is equal to mx plus b. Oops. Okay, and we're going to have y is equal to our m. We already started with negative 3/4, so we knew that, plus b, and we just solved for b. B is a positive 5/2. Well, standard form, you can't have any fractions, so I'm going to start by multiplying each of these terms by 4. When I multiply this by 4, I get 4y. When I multiply this by 4, the 4's cancel, so I get negative 3x. And when I multiply this by 4, you can do this off on the side, 4 times 5/2, well, this cancels, and 2 times 5, you get a positive 10. But that's not standard form, because in standard form you need your x's and y's on the left. So I got to move this over and it'll become positive on the left. It's still a positive 4y on the left, but now we have just 10 over there. And that's standard form. Okay, here, so we're going to start with y is equal to mx plus b. Here's our x, here's our y, and they already gave us our m. So 8 is equal to m, which is negative 2, times x, which is 5, plus b. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. So when we solve for b, we bring this over by adding it, and we're going to get b is equal to 18. So then we go back to y is equal to mx plus b. Our m they gave us, that's a negative 2. Our b we solved for, that's an 18. So we have y is equal to negative 2x plus 18. And then we got to bring the x over to the left, and it's going to become positive over here. And that's standard form. Okay, again, we always start with y is equal to mx plus b. Here's our x, here's our y, and there's our m. So y is 4, our m is 1/2, our x is negative 5, plus b. And we're going to solve for b. So this is like over 1. So we have 4 is equal to negative, positive times negative is a negative, 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 1 is 2. Now I don't like using the fractions, so I'm going to get rid of the fractions by multiplying everything by 2. So I multiply this by 2, I get 8. I multiply this by 2 and the 2's cancel, I get negative 5. And I multiply b by 2 and I get 2b. Now I can move this over by adding it to each side. And we're going to get 13 is equal to 2b. And finally, I'm going to divide by 2 on each side. And we're going to get b is equal to 13 over 2. So let's bring this up over here. So we start with y is equal to mx plus b. We know our m because we started with that, and we've just solved for our b. That's 13 over 2. Now, standard form, you're not allowed to have fractions, so I'm going to multiply by the common denominator, which is 2. I multiply every one of them by 2. I'll get 2y is equal to, the 2's cancel, so I have 1x. The 2's cancel, so we have 13. Then we got to move the x over to the left because your x's and y's have to be on the same side. So that's going to become a negative x on the left. Finally, your x term is not allowed to be negative, so you got to flip the sign of this, which means you flip the sign of everything. And you have positive x minus 2y is equal to negative 13. Oops, let me write that better. And that's standard form.